Good morning. Good morning. What's happening, family? Welcome to the show. This is Michelle Bryant here, WNOV, 860 AM, 106.5 FM. You are listening to Say Something Real. And real talk, I'm still sick.
So,
It would help. It would help if Debo wasn't sick, giving me his cooties.
right.
Yeah, I'm just saying, bro. I'm just saying.
Well,
And
I want to just interject this, just food for thought. Uh, it's hot in here. Turn the air on. That don't help.
but I'm hot. I got to be able to do the
I
show.
get it, but that's how
Too
you
hot.
get relieve a cold is
Sing it,
to
Jermaine.
sweat it out.
Drown him out,
You know,
Jermaine.
sweat it out. You know,
Call it for change.
that's why you drink a hot toddy. Get up under the warm covers.
Drown him out,
Sweat it
Jermaine.
out.
Too hot, baby.
He making me hot, Jermaine. Just talking
Yeah.
about it.
Get you with that ginger brandy, that hot toddy.
Here we. Okay. All right, Grandma. I got you. I got you.
Yeah, it would be grandpa in this case.
Look. Okay.
There they go.
Good morning, Shelby. What's happening? Hey, Dion. How y'all doing this morning? Well, thank you. And since you weighed in, are you good otherwise? You straight?
As if you care.
I do. I
Really, I mean,
if
just
I didn't care,
yeah, right, exactly.
would I?
That red fox.
That's the Red Fox version.
Version.
Yeah. And you
Nah,
got
I'm
to
good.
your hands in the air
Oh yeah,
like
you
Red
gotta
Fox
do it
with his Ringo. That's right, baby.
No, I am blessed and highly favored. I mean, yes, I'm under the weather, but I could be under the dirt, so I'll take it like it is.
All right. Always, I could be dead.
Dead and gone, sleeping in my grave.
You know when you get to that age,
Yeah.
that every
You made
little,
old death behave.
every how you do it starts with I
Yeah.
could be covered in dirt.
Well, as the funeral
Better
director
be
said,
seen than viewed. You know what I mean?
yeah, when you asked the funeral director how you doing, he said, "Well, I'm still riding up front."
It's a problem when all your good morning references start like that,
Really,
or how you
really,
doing
Michelle.
references. But I'm glad you sound like you're getting a little bit better.
I am.
So all right.
You do as well,
Well, thanks, Steve.
Yeah,
Thanks. The
certainly.
sincerity of this moment is just woo.
isn't it?
It's
But the hot mess is coming up because you know who you're about to go to next.
isn't it? Isn't it?
Oh, boy.
What up, Blondie? How you doing this morning?
Well, woman,
You good?
sometimes you got to make the
I
best.
get lonely.
Oh.
I say we got a song for literally. There's nothing you can say we don't have a song.
Yeah,
for. Okay, but you sometimes. Okay, that's where you
know-
are. I interrupted.
woman, sometimes you got to make the best of
You sound like
A
Lionel
bad
Richie, man.
a bad situation.
Think a good reason.
To keep on keeping on.
I was feeling in my spirit this morning when I woke up.
That's what the general's gonna be singing this morning.
I just,
To make the best
my
of-
Tarek be acting up too. Like even when I sing, I'll be singing a song like
Hey,
"Precious Lord,
hey.
watch out!" it just come out.
Don't
Really?
blame that. Don't
Yeah,
blame that on
it-
Tourette's.
Oh,
It's
Sheba.
don't blame
felt
it.
that thing. That thing be my.
You go feel it. That's the
Oh,
problem.
hallelujah.
That's
Debo,
the
You
problem.
lift
sound
your
like the
hands
Commodores,
right now.
man. I was trying to remember the song. You make my jagged edges smooth and girl, whoa! You're my heart, you're my soul, you're my song, inspiration, baby. Just to be close to you, just to be close to you. That's what.
He was spitting game on that part right there.
That reminds me of when Deion Cole did his stand up, and he said, "Dude told, oh girl, I'll give you the stars,
The moon.
And the
Man,
mountains.
and the
Yes.
mountains.
He was like, "Do you know how cold you gotta be?
You got to be a cold
to
dude.
tell a woman that you gonna give her the stars, the moon." And then he had the audience go, "And all that you was it
Asking
dream
for,
for or wish
Asking
for,
for,
something
yeah,
like
wish
that?"
for or something.
And then so much more.
Yeah.
I
Boy,
was like,
so you got to be a cold dude to pull stars from heaven.
Who's that, Babyface?
No, that's
I'll give you the star.
A jacket- it's a jacket edge?
Mika this. No, it ain't
I'll
Mika
give
this.
you the after seven.
After seven,
After
yeah.
seven.
Babyface
Probably
wrote-
Babyface
yeah,
wrote
yeah.
that. Yeah. So that was funny to me. I was
Mhm.
like, yes. Well, all right, family. It's good to be in the studio this morning.
But Shell, how are you doing outside of your cold? I mean, are you doing all right? Because you look
Oh boy,
fabulous.
You
I
know
mean,
what?
no, seriously. I
Here
mean,
we
she
go.
over there shining. You
Back
know,
down memory
hey,
lane.
you know,
What he singing? What he singing?
memory lane.
Oh.
See, you understand me, Shell? I just want to tell you,
Mm,
thank you for giving me the opportunity to express 5 minutes of my feelings of how I feel.
it's
I
okay.
need that though.
Don't do it.
Okay.
Don't do it.
You
It
know,
ain't.
Debo, don't you
It
need
ain't
that?
necessary.
No, you know, just to express and spread your wings.
The kids is on the school bus like Jermaine. We got to get to school.
Make sure when you go to school, kids, you ask your
we
teacher,
gotta get to school.
where's the beef?
All right. So look.
Hey man, they didn't enjoy. I got a few calls on yesterday. Folks did not enjoy my stand up bit at the church. I mean, at the Star Red's party.
You did a stand up?
You did a stand up,
Not
bro?
really. I
Was you
kinda-
talking about people? Because that's the problem.
No.
You always talking about somebody.
No, I just
What
told
you
her,
say?
I see a lot of church folks in here.
Oh,
What-
boy.
And I said, I got a few calls over the air where folks didn't really appreciate it, but I need y'all to understand that you got to have the right people at the door.
Yeah.
What that
Yeah.
mean? What happened?
So
You
I
told the
I
joke.
told him, I said, I'm not going to name the church, but I went to a church, me and my cousin,
Come back to
and
tea.
we was tipping out. We were going to leave a little early, and the usher got up. She said, y'all chump chat your chin now.
For
I said,
real.
what?
Just stop telling that joke.
She said, chump chat your chin.
Stop telling that joke.
No, that
Man,
really
stop telling
happened.
that joke.
That really happened.
It just.
And I know he ain't gonna say the preacher name, but I know the preacher. He was talking about I tanked it up a table near T.
Again.
You got to have the right folks up there, Michelle.
You know what? That's why people be trying to hurt you. Because
I ain't know nobody was trying to hurt me.
you didn't know?
No.
Oh, I'm sorry. I let the cat out the
Yeah,
bag.
you sure.
Word on the street is.
Because you so messed up, Debo. Like y'all just don't
Michelle,
let
that
stuff go.
really happened though.
Yeah, but still,
Chum
it's
chat
things
your
that
chin
have
now.
happened
Y'all chum
that
chat your chin.
I have let go. I don't keep mentioning them. Well, some things. I guess.
Yeah. What we doing
Some
here?
things you do. Like, let me just mention this. So last night, a while ago, I had gotten this thing, information about a brother who had written a book called I Am Nobody's Slave: How Uncovering My Family's History Set Me Free. Okay. Now, y'all know I am a race woman. Me, Thurgood Marshall said I'm a race man. I'm right there with Thurgood. I am a race woman. And so you got a book with the title I Am Nobody's Slave. Oh, I'm here for that book. Let me go and hear what is about to be, dispensed by way of some knowledge and some information. And so the Journal Sentinel, National Association of Black Journalists, they are hosting this, author who his name is Lee Hawkins. Yeah, y'all had him on last week.
Mhm.
Oh, I wish he had been on with me. So Lee Hawkins, and I guess at one time he worked for the Journal Sentinel. And so, I sit and I'm there and I'm waiting. And I tell people all the time, I don't know what it is, but I typically can size somebody up in a relatively short amount of time. Sometimes on the initial hello, I pretty much got it. Like, I don't know what it is. I don't know why it's like that, but it does not take me a long time to get to what I think about somebody. There have been occasions when I've been wrong. I think 2 in my life. And so I was just kind of watching Mr. Hawkins move, in the room before everything kicked off. And I was like, okay, let's just wait. So he starts talking about his family history. and how he comes to write this book. And he talks about the fact that um, his father moves to Minnesota, and they moved to Minnesota. He he talks about like the amount of corporal punishment in his family and how excessive it was in his opinion. I think he said it was like, I don't know, hundreds of beatings, even though he emphasized that he came from a very strong patriarchal family and that the men in his family, they were loving men. But I guess a part of that love meant, I'm gonna beat you to death so that the streets don't beat you, or society or the police don't beat you. I'm paraphrasing, but that is kind of what it felt like, the gist of it. And so he had talked about, not advancing the idea of corporal punishment. And that's something I talk about on the station. I'm not a fan of people beating their kids, never. And while I don't rule out spanking, it's not something that I do. I don't feel the need to I don't feel the need to engage physically like that with a kid by, hitting them to be able to get them to do what I need them to do. But I'm not ruling it out. Spanking is not against the law. It's not. Okay. Um, and so I continue to listen. And so he has other things that he talks about um in terms of the black community and black culture. And I'm like, okay, I hear you on that. I feel you on that. I feel you. And then though, that Joe Madison listen with a third ear, um, look with a third eye. I hear in his remarks some of the things that I thought I had picked up on just from watching him move around the room. So he, at some point, and I want to go back because I was making some notes on it when he was talking. Um, where is it? Where is it? Where is it? He, at some point, begins to say some things that I thought, this is gratuitous commentary for white people. Um, what do I mean? And I'm looking for my specific thing because I want to use it. Hang on, because I got a million text messages. Dang, well, why was everybody texting me yesterday? Um, okay, so it's not there. Let me go here because I know where else it's at. So, one of the first things that caught my attention was he made the comment about black on black crime. It's too much black on black crime. And I just thought, like, man, enlightened people, enlightened journalists, they don't really use that language to describe violence in our community. Because, as I've said so many times on this show, you kill the people that's closest to you. White folks kill white folks. Mexicans kill Mexicans. Asians kill Asians, and so on. Because that stuff is usually about proximity, unless you are some of the crazy young white men who go and drive into other communities and, go shoot up churches or grocery stores or whatever. But typically, you kill the people that are closest to you, that you interact with. So, in this day and age, to still be using terms like black on black crime, it really does a disservice to the black community because we do exactly what everybody else do. We kill the people that are closest to us. Okay. And so that kind of struck me, but let's keep going. Let's keep going. Let's keep going. So then he makes this statement, or he has this part where he's talking and he says black people need to commit to nonviolence, and that goes back to the corporal punishment, not beating your kids, blah blah blah, and lead the way so that others will follow. And I wrote the WTF when I heard it, because it's not Black people's responsibility to lead the way on nonviolence so that the rest of the world can get their act together. That's not our responsibility. And what, you know, an inordinate amount of pressure you put on one demographic. So, okay, I keep listening. I keep listening. Then he went to one of the reasons we have so much violence in our community is rap music. We've had those debates on this radio station many, many times. And I have said that we need to think and be thoughtful about how we talk about us, our culture, our community, the things that happen in our community. We need to be thoughtful, because as he sat on the stage and made a generalization that rap music, was one of the key influencers in the chaos that we see. He said, what did the song say? Self-destruction. And I'm like, well, that song that you're quoting from is KRS-One, which was a song about anti-violence, because it had come off one of the rappers recently being killed. And the East Coast rappers and the West Coast rappers had like some anthems about anti-violence that were warning people, let's not do this. But rap music in and of itself actually started as a music of protest about the crazy stuff that was happening in the streets. So this version of some of the rap we hear today, because we got all kinds of rap, gospel rap, trap rap. We just got all kinds of different lanes for rap, that you can't make this generalized statement. And as a reporter, maybe I'm expecting too much, because you've now written this book, and you sit on the stage and you make this and then the room is predominantly white. Okay, it's predominantly white. So you make this statement about rap music and its violence, and I'm just like, you couldn't phrase that in a way that speaks to the history of rap that's like legit. But okay, again, maybe I'm being sensitive. I'm doing too much. Okay. So then he goes on down. And again, he's weaving in some good stuff. He's saying some stuff that I can agree with. I hear you. And then he says, because we get to the Q&A portion of his talk. And to me, he talks so long that, the people that's asking the questions don't even get to ask a lot, because he just goes on and on and on and on. And I'm like, bruh, conversation does not flow like that. But okay, now probably because you kind of irritating me, I'm just being picky. And so, okay, stop, Michelle. So they get to the public Q&A. And I don't like when people ask me to write down my questions, and then the moderator will look and decide which questions they think are good questions or interesting questions. And then you'll ask those questions. I mean, hey, give us a time limit, give us a mic, tell people to be concise and be brief. Let people ask their own questions. I don't need you to ask my question for me. You're not going to ask my question in the way I wanted to. And just because you don't think it's interesting does not mean, just because you may not think it's not interesting doesn't mean it's a good question. So I get real irritated when people do forums, but you want me to write my question down. But okay. So somebody asked the question about where does he get inspired to write, this book and this whole concept about I'm not anybody's slave. He goes back to LeVar Burton playing Kunta Kinte and the scene in which Toby is being beaten and the lashes are being extracted upon this man's back in a way that made Black people cringe. And he says at 6 years old, was how old he was at the time, that his parents, because of the culture of corporal punishment that they were brought up in, or violence or whatever, that they were basically, sounded like desensitized to seeing LeVar Burton being lashed, beaten with this whip. But that as a 6-year-old, he identified, it resonated with him. And I had this moment where I said, so for real, you thought that as a 6-year-old child, you understood more than your grown parent did about what they were seeing on television. And just because they didn't necessarily show it in a way to you that lets you know that this was painful for them to watch, that you really are telling people that at 6 years old, you're okay. So now I'm like, yeah, okay, you irritate me. And then he gets to the part where it comes up that he's in a white fraternity. And he's very proud of his white fraternity. And he makes this comment about, because I've lived in all white environments, all white, neighborhoods, white communities, white schools, white. And so I'm on a white college campus. And, so they maybe had 2 Kappas and 4 Deltas. And if I want to run and be SGA president, do I join a black fraternity, or do I join the predominantly white fraternity where I basically got a better chance of being accepted, because this is the way the real world is, and having people vote for me? Paraphrasing, but that's what he said. That was the gist of it. And also woven in was the subtle, ever so subtle bootstraps conservative messaging that racism might be prevalent, but it doesn't stop you from doing whatever you want to do in this world. He could never trust nobody but himself and God. That's all he could trust. Even though he said he had a parent that was loving, patriarchal, blah, blah, blah. But at the end of the day, he sat on the stage and said the only people he could trust was himself and God. So I'm going to just tell y'all, I wish I had the opportunity to interview this brother. And he acknowledged, I know I say things that are controversial, but the impression I got when I looked at the makeup of the room, predominantly white, or like 70, 60, 40 white, 70, 30 white. When I looked at the room and I watched how he interacted in the room, and then I'm gonna be honest, I even looked at his gear because them socks was killing me. And so I looked at all of that. And then when he goes to speaking about his white fraternity, but I'm going to be my authentic self. And I'm like, my authentic black self, or something he was saying. And I'm just like, it's crazy how people don't see their stuff. Because you really sitting up here, this book wasn't written. I don't know who it was written for, but I'm like, Jesus. All I'm going to say before I go to break is that y'all, we got some folks that got issues, man. The white ice is colder. Yes, these things are significant in our history, but because he kept making this comment that even though, black people still bought homes, even though they were denied the GI Bill. And I'm like, I need you to do much more comprehensive research, young brother, because while some people were able to buy a house in spite of, the number was significantly less. The quality of the housing and where they could buy the housing was significantly less. There are whole videos and research and documentaries that have been done on how black people were hurt because they were not fairly treated in the housing economy. But it was, if you paid attention to it, the subtle, but you can't be a victim, black people. You can't let slavery be a noose around your neck. You can't let racism be a real thing. When I tell you, the book is, somebody said, what book am I referring to? The book is called I Am Nobody's Slave, How Uncovering My Family's History Set Me Free. And I wanted to tell this young brother, Negro, you still ain't free. You ought to go back and sit down with a black psychologist and walk you through some of the comments that you made on that stage last night. At the end of the day, I could not stomach no more, and I got up and I walked out. But the irony of you having a book talking about you've been set free, the furthest thing in the world from being set free. I got to take a break. I'll be right back. Back. Let me mention a program real quick before I get to some local stuff. Uh, there is an author, since I was on authors, I remember I had this flyer, Reggie Jackson, who is well known here in the community, someone who does a lot of speaking engagements, educational sessions regarding Black history. um, he is doing a series discussing Milwaukee's history of segregation and its ongoing impact on housing. Somebody should call, what's his name? Lee Hawkins, and tell him to go. Uh, Education and Equity. And is the name of this presentation is called Midwest Nice Apartheid, the history and harms of segregation in Milwaukee. And it reveals how segregation policies and practices beginning in the early 1900s led to segregated spaces in Metro Milwaukee. So this next session that he is doing is going to be this Saturday over at the Villard Library from 12 to 2 p.m. And the Villard Library is 5190 North 35th Street. And again, somebody should call Mr. Hawkins and tell him to attend. I want to take a second before I talk. Oh, you know what? Before I do that, let me do this while I'm here. No, I'll come back. Because we got to talk about, even if I disagree with the content of what the brother, some of the content, because I didn't disagree with all of it, but some of the content in this brother's book, we need people that are educated and able to communicate and have, the ability to write these books and tell these stories. And I am just so concerned again about our young people. We have too many children in our community that cannot read, kids that are 12 and 13 years old that cannot read. They cannot read with comprehension. They cannot read in terms of context. They cannot read in terms of actually recognizing the words, being able to pronounce these words. And so there is this program called Forward Scholars. It is a Common Ground initiative. And Forward Scholars is a community volunteer tutoring program dedicated to helping K through 3 grade students, K through 3rd grade students who are not yet reading at grade level. This program was started in 2022. Program initially served 163 students across 5 MPS schools. They've now expanded to 7 to 9 schools, supporting 275 kids. But what this group is saying is that they need volunteers. They need people that can help. They are seeking volunteers to be regular tutors, one-on-one with the same student, or substitute tutors as they try to expand their program to 11 different sites or schools. People that can't volunteer. They are also, accepting donations to be able to help support the program. But if our children cannot read by 3rd grade, school is going to be so difficult for them. Because as we've said before, I talked about with Wanda Montgomery, the things I've learned even with my own grandson. After K through 3 or somewhere in there, you are learning to read. After the 3rd grade, you are reading to learn. Say it one more time. K through 3, you are learning to read. After the 3rd grade, they expect that you will have the foundational stuff that you need now. And now you are reading to learn. Nobody is teaching you how to read after the 3rd grade in most situations. I'm going to say again to parents and to grandparents and to caregivers, make your child sit down in front of you and hand them something, a magazine, a newspaper, a book, and say, read me a paragraph out of this book. and you figure out, because it don't take a rocket science to see whether or not my child is struggling. If we have some people that got some free time and can volunteer in these after school programs, these mentoring programs, tutoring programs, y'all please do that, because our young people are in trouble. I want them to grow up to be Reggie Jackson and Lee Hawkins so I can debate you about your, the way you see the world. But the fact is, I can debate you. We need that. So yes, I will send that over to you as soon as I get a chance, Marquette. All right. So I said I wanted to get to some local stuff. I want to say this was Sunday. I'm looking through my phone real quick that I saw this post. So Liz Brown put a post out, I think a day ago. And the post was a repost from someone named Jasmine Sloan. And this is what this woman posted. She said, quote, "I've went back and forth with myself all night about posting this, but honestly, I don't give AF about protecting him anymore. I've done everything I could as a teenage single mother of 3. I got a lot of blank wrong, but there was a lot I did right. Either way, when you are dealing with a narcissistic son, your efforts, your hard work, and your prayers are never enough. I'm such a horrible mother. I'm the reason your life is so messed up. Well, now you ain't got to ever worry about me again. No, I'm not okay. Never in 37 years has anyone disrespected me or put their hands on me like this. And for it to have been my son, hurt and pissed is an understatement." This woman posted a picture of herself with her left eye swollen and closed shut and bleeding up underneath it. When I tell you, let me see if I can do it this way. This is the craziest thing I have seen. We t- Let me see if I can pull it up. Can you see it? You got it?
Yeah, turn it toward the camera.
Oh, okay. So I don't know how well we can see it, but it's on Liz Brown's page. I don't think we can get it. Okay, don't worry about it.
All right.
But it's on Liz Brown's page. Y'all, when I tell y'all that post hurt me as a mother who has a son and has at times been a single mother raising this young man and who have locked horns. My baby is his mama's child. He is opinionated, he is strong-willed, but he is never disrespectful. He would never do what this young man did in relationship to his mother. And I think about some of the stuff that I have been upset with my mother about. I'm talking about serious stuff. I've talked about some of it on the air over the years. But if my mother picked up the phone and said, "I need water and we don't have none and I can't get to the store," I would have got on a plane before we could just call Walmart and have it delivered to her house. I would have got on a plane, got off the plane, went and bought water, took it to my mama, and then came back to Milwaukee. Because you just respected your parents, even when you didn't agree with them, even when you knew in some cases they was 100% dead wrong. So the idea that this woman's son jumped on her and beat her in her face or hit her in her face to the point that he closed her eye and there is blood from where he must have, broke her skin, and her face started bleeding up underneath it. And then as she had to sit there as a mother and decide whether or not I'm going to tell anybody about this. And then she finally said, I've had enough. Jermaine just shared a Facebook story post somebody had made about a young woman being shot and killed yesterday. The story, I brought the grandmother. We had her here in the studio, still waiting for those arrangements to be worked out. But, you guys will get the updates this week. But the story comes on while I'm sitting here that says this 15-year-old child was shot by her boyfriend. So, as you try to figure out, like, who would do this to this little girl? This is supposed to be somebody that loves you and cares about you. But you shoot her multiple times, changing the story. It was an accident. It was this, it was that. But this is, and this was one of the things that Lee Hawkins brought up about the way people express love. And that's where that corporal punishment piece came in, and the violent beatings of people. And, we can trace it back to slavery and da-da-da. So, like I said, I had more moments of agreement than disagreement, but I still realized that it was other stuff at play in that talk back last night. But what are we doing in our community that life has become so, what's the word? So invaluable, so casual, so throwaway, that we don't even think about it. Because all of this is not music. All of this is not, poverty, lack of education. When the Milwaukee County folks talk about understanding the determinants of health, and that health is also mental health. What makes you a healthy person? We got a bunch of unhealthy people walking amongst us. People reached out on Facebook to this woman to try to, look, get you some help, call somebody. But the struggle of knowing, like, you potentially get ready to put your own child in jail. You will never forget that your child jumped on you. You will never forget that, man. So I don't have a solution, but the post just so disturbed my soul when I saw it that I just said I'm gonna bring that up on the radio. Jay, you want to say something?
Yeah. Just listening to you, and I was sitting here thinking, sometimes that type of behavior starts when the child is young, and you allow your child to hit you, and you laughing and playing, and oh, start, it's okay, and you tell him to sit down, and he holler off and hit you, and you stop it, Bobby, whatever you say, you don't really nip it in the bud then, because then that seed that's in that child, anything that's living is going to grow.
Hmm.
So when you have a situation that's living within that child and you don't cut it off at the head when it starts, this is what it grows into.
And I certainly agree with what you're saying. I know even when um, I'm talking to my grandson, or my grandson is engaging with his parents, and I'm around or I'm listening, he's a little kid.
Yeah.
So you don't know. You just talking, and he is a child that's been raised around adults. There are no other little kids except for play dates, but he's not around any little cousins. He doesn't have any other than my son's, my brother's son, and Brandon is like 12, and they don't see each other often. So he's around adults. And he around adults who got slick mouths. His daddy got slick mouth, his mama got slick mouth. And I mean in the sense of ribbing. Like, we all rib in our family. We all talk crazy. And Atlas has already picked that up. Like, oh, this family is cutthroat. So yeah, you can get ribbed on for anything. And Atlas he's witty, he's quick with it. He got a zinger, he can come for you. And but I even have said, to my son, and I like even to Atlas, hey, you get your daddy like that. You don't talk slick to me, because I'll be at your doorstep in the morning. And your Atlas is like, okay, grandma. Yeah, don't play with me.
Yeah,
See,
you got to draw that line, because everything that we do, just as human beings, everything we do is a learned behavior.
Right.
So kids that's sitting around listening to grown folks talk to each other.
And I'm gonna say, and that's when I say right, and I don't mean to cut you off, but I'm gonna say for the most part, because we do know that people can have medical situations. People can have, imbalances that can make them, act out or be prone to behaviors that are difficult. And it's not learned, it's something genetic or, medical.
No, I get that. But what I'm saying is, in order for them to act out, because you would have to learn how to fight. You would have to learn these words that you say. So if you act out, what's normal and what you don't have to learn is when the child is born and the child act out without that child knowing how to speak or fight, he just fall out.
Right.
And just cry, because that's natural.
Right.
But everything else is learned.
Mm-hmm.
From you swinging, from the words that come out your mouth, that stuff is learned.
Right.
And that's why it's important to what you allow your child to see as that molding stage is taking place.
Yeah, no, definitely. And somebody just texted me, you got kids who witness domestic violence. You learn early, that, men hit women, women hit men, people fight physically. And, and for some kids, this is normal. I just had another conversation with another friend who was worried about a young girl whose boyfriend just whooped her. She in high school. And then trying to talk to this child about, like, no, you need to do something different. It's like talking to the wall, because you don't see
what she been through.
Yeah. But you got the bruises and the scars to show. And I'm like, who the hell getting beat up in high school, man?
But not only that.
Talk to y'all kids, man.
Not only that, but I guarantee you, and maybe I should be careful with that, but maybe she saw something from her mother or her father and thought that was love, and thought that that's how you supposed to express love.
That definitely can be the case. That definitely can be the case. Let me go to the phone line. Hey, caller, what's happening?
Hello, how you doing, Michelle?
I'm good. How are you this morning?
I'm doing pretty good. That thing about the mother posting herself in the paper with her eye all blacked out like that runs real deep. That goes back into the early 70s when they began to take the man out of the family, and the boy grows up, doing what his mother do as far as how she handles certain situations, because y'all are governed by y'all emotions. So by that boy being in the family with no man, he's copying his mother's emotions. That's when they grow up, they get into their feelings. The strongest emotion that a human has is love and hatred. That hatred, when that person gets into the emotion of hatred, that hatred shows no rationality. He's in the moment and they feel like I am right and nothing else matters. So that's when they lash out like that, they lash out in anger.
Okay, that's a perspective. And I certainly hear you. I have heard, things like that advanced before. I think though we do have to be careful when we talk about it, because women are capable of raising their sons. I know, because I did. and you don't have that type of situation in that relationship and that level of toxicity. I don't call and have never called my child out his name. I've not, hit and beat on my child as a way of disciplining him. Um, and we got to be careful about where we shift, these examples, because you can see people misbehave anywhere, not just in your home. And so there are enough images of both sexes misbehaving physically,
That's true.
that you can learn from. So I just think I caution us that when we talk about it, to have a more full throated view of it, that violence is everywhere. We have all of these people convening down in Virginia a little bit later this morning to be, in some cases, people are saying to be given the war ethos. And I'll talk about what that means this morning. But, I don't like a religion. So I go and shoot up the Church of Latter-day Saints. Just we got way too many examples of it. So I just want to just say that, because I have parents and I have kids who have said, no, my parents did textbook what parents were supposed to do. I still made different choices and decisions. I still got around young people and peers in the streets and was more influenced by them than what my parents was talking about. So I'm just saying, just a little bit more nuanced, or a broader view of it. But thank you, bro. I appreciate your call and for you weighing in. All right, y'all. I'm gonna change gears. We got to talk about the government shutdown. We got to talk about what's getting ready to go on at Quantico this morning. We got to talk about the fact that some more folks have gotten into the governor's race. Um, Getting ready to be real interesting here. That field is getting more crowded by the day. So let's do this. Let's take a break. Michelle Bryant, WNOV, 860 AM, 106.5 FM. We'll be right back.
Clear.
Family, welcome back to the show. So, just so I acknowledge, I had a couple of people who my brother just texted me, "You good?" I had a couple of people who said that they could actually hear me talking um, when we went to the commercial break, and so we've been trying to figure it out because two different people tapped in and said that they could hear me talking. So we don't know why that's happening. Let me be clear. I'm typically not gonna say nothing during the break that I don't want you to hear, but it might be littered with cuss words. So we gonna figure out
You
what's
might hear
go.
something.
you might hear something crazy. So now that we know, and thank you guys for flagging it for us because yeah, they turn everything off before we go to break. Um, so somebody said they actually listen on an app called Radio Garden. This app provides stations from all over the world. Okay. So we trying to figure it out. We're not sure what's going on because somebody said they could hear when one of the mics was even being tapped and I wasn't tapping mine. So we'll figure it out. But thank you. I want you guys to know, just acknowledging that, yep, um, we are aware that you said you could hear us. Let me go to the caller. Hey, caller, what's happening?
Hey, Michelle, good morning.
Good morning. Hey, Angela, how you doing this morning?
I'm doing well. I'm doing well. Feeling a lot better this morning.
Good, good.
So, but I don't know if your topic is, but I was listening about how you were saying how the little kids may hit you. Like my great nephew that I keep,
Okay.
he's one, but he started that, and I didn't think that was funny at all because I don't play that. I tap his little hand, let him know, that's not right. You don't do that. You don't hit me.
Right.
Cause I don't. I'm that auntie that don't play. I will get you
I
real
just
quick
I just saw a
and break.
T-shirt that said "I'm that auntie."
Right, and I'm not that one because I will let you know you're not gonna hit me because if you don't stop him when he young, he gonna think he can do it when he get older.
Absolutely, absolutely. You're absolutely right. All of it. You teach
Yeah,
respect. You
right.
teach behavior. So yes, ma'am. Thank you for
Yeah,
weighing in on that.
and my granddaughter was 21 when she tried me.
Your
I want to
granddaughter.
break. Yes, my granddaughter, the
Mm,
one that I took care of with her mama till I got out in the world. But then when she tried me when she was 21 in my house, baby, listen, I told my daughter, either you come get her, she gonna be in jail or she gonna be dead.
yes,
And I
ma'am.
meant that.
All right. Thank you, Angela. Appreciate
Yeah.
that. They look, it ain't nothing like them real life stories to add context. All right, family. So I said I was gonna switch gears. Let me try to run through a number of stories. Today is my early day. So let me start here. There has been, somebody said, good morning, reaching out in response to Jermaine's comment about the 15-year-old young lady thinking that being hit is a form of love. Yet he didn't comment about the possibilities of the young man's background and experience that he would think and act upon hitting someone. Um, and I think it was a combination of both of
Yeah,
our comments. So,
yeah. With that coming, we was talking about the high school,
right.
and the young lady, getting hit on, and I was saying that she might have saw that in her, growing up and in her grooming stage, and she probably think that that's love, but that works both ways
Mm-hmm.
too. A young man probably saw that happening in his atmosphere and thought that that's how you show and express
Or how you
love
supposed to handle
and
women.
how you're supposed
It
to
may
handle
not even be about love
situations.
necessarily,
Yeah,
but you don't let your woman get out of line.
yeah,
You don't let,
yeah,
people, there are pre-described roles. It made me think about real quick when I was talking about Pete Hegseth, the Secretary of the Department of Defense, um, and this whole thing that he, has about women in the military, and so there was a committee that had been created, and I talked about it. The What was it called? The Defense Advisory Committee on Women's Services that was created back in 1951 because women were taking on increased roles in the military. And Pete Hegseth got rid of that committee. But women do serve in the military. And men and women do have different needs. We both wear boots. We both wear combat gear. But my gear needs to fit differently because I got breasts sitting up in the front of my chest. So whatever that plate looks like, or whatever the body armor looks like that I'm wearing, it has to be adjusted for the fact that I got breasts. We are built differently. He got rid of this committee. He shut it down. And the thing that I wanted to mention about it is, where was it? He had very specific views. This Defense Department's Women, Peace, and Security Program, because women were being sexually assaulted in the military. Joe Biden created that. Pete Hegseth said it's another woke, divisive social justice Biden initiative. So women not being sexually assaulted in the military is a woke and divisive policy. But if we don't have people that talk about changing the culture and behavior that can harm women in the military, then how does it change? And again, just since I'm talking about it, Hegseth fired or replaced a number of women in leadership positions. I brought that up yesterday. Former Chief of Naval Operations, Admiral Lisa Franchetti, first woman to serve on the Joint Chiefs of Staff, whom he called a DEI hire. This woman is more qualified than he is, but he called her a DEI hire. In his book, Vice Admiral Yvette Davids, the first woman to serve as the superintendent of the Naval Academy, and the Vice Admiral Shoshana Chatfield, who served in the U.S. military, representative to NATO, he goes after these people. So, these are long-held beliefs about how women are viewed, what women's roles are, and you can pick this stuff up anywhere. And be exposed to it and bring this back into your situation. So to this person who texted me, thank you for just making sure we are balanced in the way we talk about it, because both genders got things they got to work on in relationship to understanding what a healthy relationship looks like and is supposed to be.
And I want to say too, appreciate that too, pointing out, man, I don't want to seem like that I'm one-sided, because I'm not one-sided. I believe in that it works both ways. So, thank you for pointing it out.
Okay, cool. Let's go to the phone line. Hey, caller, what's happening?
Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning.
I was listening to about this young lady who got her boyfriend beat her up in school. And then I look at these young men, and I heard the other caller say when these guys are raised by their moms. But what we have to look at these days, how many years that we've been going through this matter with young men being raised by their mom, because the way the government split up the family. So we got older guys nowadays that have this attitude: if you don't hit me or I don't hit you, that we don't love one another. I've seen this in a lot of different situations. But the one thing we have to remember is that we were taught to beat on one another by the slave driver. And we got to go back to where, hey, love don't come from if you beat me or if you don't beat me, you don't love me. We got to learn how to care and be a servant to one another according to the way we were really supposed to be. Stop the madness, because it go back hundreds of years on how we were treated, and now we learn how to treat one another terribly. God bless you.
All right, thank you. I appreciate the call, bro. Got another caller. Let's get him in, or get them in. Hey, caller, what's happening?
Hey, Michelle, I got two quick questions for you, if you don't mind.
Go ahead. You got
the first one.
You got the window down or something?
No, I'm in the conference here. I don't know why. I know all of them complain about that. I don't know why you get that feedback.
Sound like you on the horse like there, Doc. Sound like you get your
I know you always.
Like you get a convertible in the top.
That cat on the horse.
I get that sound in my Jeep because the top's coming off. But go ahead, Jeep.
I know right on always say that. But two quick questions for you, Michelle, which I can't figure out. I know, but it just blows my mind. Why are white women still down with that? And the second thing is that if somebody tries to hurt your brand, now this dude will sue you just for looking at him crazy. So when they put the stuff out about Tylenol, why won't Tylenol go after him or Robert Kennedy? And I'm gonna get off and listen, so you won't hear
Wait,
that
say that
noise.
again. What was the question?
Oh, let me pull over real quick.
Oh no, he said, "Why won't Tylenol go
said, why
after?"
won't Tylenol go after Trump and Kennedy?
Okay.
Because they running a brand by telling them that Tylenol is bad, don't take it, whatever. That's slander. And,
because he'll sue you for looking at him crazy.
Yeah.
Right.
And if you say anything wrong, he'll sue you. I'm gonna sue you. I'm gonna sue you. I'm gonna sue you. I got 16 million from you, and I'm gonna get some more. So why do people let him get away with that?
Man, he just got
I'm gonna hang up and listen.
from YouTube.
Okay. Yeah. So, and let me just say this real quick on the question about RFK and Trump and using the brand name of Tylenol for the drug that is a drug that is sold in Walmart under its generic name. Donald Trump certainly puts Tylenol, and RFK Jr. put Tylenol in a very precarious situation. In fact, there is stories that have been breaking in the last 4 days to 4 hours in which Tylenol is seeing an uptick in lawsuits being waged against them by people whose children have autism. And so Trump tells people taking Tylenol is not good. And yet Tylenol certainly could come after the Trump administration, but look at how much control and power the administration has. You have the ability to make Tylenol, the company, and what is the name of the company that manufactures Tylenol? Let me see. Company that makes Tylenol. So that company is called Kenvue, Kenvue. And it was spun off from Johnson & Johnson in 2023. So that's the company that makes Tylenol, okay? That company understands that they have regulatory things that can be done to them by the administration that can make doing business miserable. When you had lawyers who were being bullied by Donald Trump, and Trump saying, we will stop your ability to come in and out of federal buildings because he didn't like who these lawyers were representing or, cases the lawyers had worked on. And he literally started cutting off credentials for lawyers who had legal business to come into federal buildings. He removed their security clearances to be able to come in. And so there were lawyers that were from the biggest law firms that kowtowed, capitulated, bowed down, and just let him run over them. It was a smaller law firm that sued the Trump administration for what he was doing in terms of using the leverage of his office to get lawyers to fall in line. These people realize, just like ABC and the Jimmy Kimmel Show, Tylenol is no different. The company Kenvue is no different. I got to do business in this state or in this town, in this country. This man controls the levers of business. I have lawyers, some of the most expensive, highest paid lawyers in the country who would not fight Donald Trump. You got some of the wealthiest, richest companies in America. Meta, Facebook, Amazon, Bezos, what's that boy, Elon Musk? That all will still kiss the ring. Microsoft, that will kiss the ring. Because the government's ability to impact these people's business is massive. So, no, Kenvue is going to try to get out the way. Now, they're going to be in court because more parents and people are coming towards them about what Trump said. It intensified, it ticked up, but they're not. A lot of them not gonna say nothing because they scared they can't fight. And if I win this case, how else can you make my life miserable? Donald Trump going after Letitia James. The people that he puts in place says, man, it ain't nothing here. We can't come for her. He forces them out. And then puts somebody else in there who's never prosecuted a case in her life. And she gets the job on Monday. On Wednesday, she bringing the case back around against Letitia James. It's just like, look at the kind of power this man has. So, speaking of power, I was going to talk about State Senator Van Wangard saying that the city of Milwaukee has squandered the money from Act 12 on pay raises. But before I do that, because some news just came across that I want to comment on before my time runs out this morning. So Pete Hegseth, Secretary of Defense, calls all of these military top commanders to Virginia, to Quantico. 800 plus people are going to be in attendance. This was Pete Hegseth's meeting. Then Donald Trump decided to horn in and get in on the action because he likes to look like a strong man with his big wide booty. He likes to look like he the tough guy, the man who was a draft dodger, who made fun of military members who had been captured in war, John McCain, who made fun of military disabled veterans when he said, with John Kelly standing there, nobody wants to see that, talking about service members that had lost limbs or were in wheelchairs. Nobody wants to see that. So this the man. But you want to get in front of these guys and women and pretend you the baddest thing smoking. Okay. So it just came out like 2 minutes ago that Donald Trump made the statement before heading to Quantico this morning to address this group of military generals. Quote, he will fire them on the spot if he does not like them. While Trump was preparing to leave Washington, his defense secretary was addressing a packed meeting of hundreds of top military commanders in an auditorium in Quantico. Hegseth railed against, quote, decay at the Defense Department, saying he would crack down on physical fitness and grooming standards, black men, and throw out woke policies. The man who was a damn drunk and women talked about how scandalous he was. He gonna crack down on woke policies. We became the woke department, but not anymore. He announced 10 new directives implementing physical fitness standards, bringing combat arms positions to the highest male. Bringing combat arm positions up to the highest male, MALE standard. He said that. Bringing combat arm positions up to the highest male standard and ordering troops to shave their beards and cut their hair short. While generals and admirals at the meeting wouldn't be forced to take their own physical fitness tests, every member of the joint force would be required to take a physical fitness test twice a year and meet height and weight standards. We're not talking hot yoga and stretching. He mandated all these people come from the rank of brigadier general or rear admiral, lower half, and above to report to the Virginia base. So, we will be looking to see why a former military person has sent me a statement saying this is costing millions of dollars to bring these folks to the country. They said that on CNN this morning. To bring everybody to Virginia. They said that on CNN this morning. So this was mess you could have put in a memo. But everybody want to play the strong guy. The person that texted me, they said senior officers always travel with some of their staff. You got to do accommodations, housing, food service, transportation, and security. A waste of time, money, and readiness. Nearly all of these top officers all finished the military academies. Pete Hegseth was a member of the Army National Guard. So you got a draft dodger who said, I will fire. You can't make, see, that's why you know what I say all the time. Some of these white men who wrap themselves up in that flag, y'all on some BS. Because if you cared about the military, law enforcement, and this country the way you say you do, you could never be behind Donald Trump as the president. Racism, money, power, greed is way more important than democracy, liberty, freedom. Way more important. Way more important. The man is a draft dodger. Ain't never served a day in his life. Got a doctor to write excuses so he couldn't serve. Made fun of military members for a variety of reasons. But now he, who has not given up anything for this country, says, if I don't like you, I will fire you on the spot. Wisconsin is an at-will employment state. But even in an at-will employment state, if a supervisor comes out and says in a room full of people, if I don't like you, I will fire you on the spot, you most likely got a case against them. I got to take a break. You got silly, unserious people running this country. Keon just stays in the back of my mind. Paper champs, paper bosses. No integrity. I mean, you ain't even faithful to the women that you married. You're lousy. No integrity. None. You're liars. You're thieves. And you have the nerve to tell men and women who are making the ultimate sacrifice because of the way you look, your beard, because I just don't like you, that my whole career could be gone. Everything I've worked for could be gone. Like these 350,000 Black women that have been, lost their jobs. Many of them government jobs on some straight nonsense. I got to take a break. I could not believe that the president of the United States would utter such irresponsible and disrespectful language about men and women serving in the military. I'll be right back. All right, family, welcome back. I'm sorry, because I have gotten stuck here for a second in this nonsense going on in Virginia. You know, I'm reading this. So what Hegseth has said is that women who can't meet the physical requirements that they set for men, you need to look at different career choices and career options. I think about even locally, men, women who train for the fire department and have to be able to carry certain amount of weight and do certain things. I don't know what that physical requirement is for the police department. Um, but to be so short sighted in an era when people are not breaking their neck to join the military. Um, the stuff that these two have said, it is just absolutely unbelievable to me on some level. Again, that Donald Trump. So this is the way you talk to the people that got to keep you safe. They have to keep the country safe. You go in and you literally say, because the generals got cell phones just like we got cell phones. So before Trump even rolls his big behind up into the meeting, these people already know that he has said, if I look at someone and I don't like them, they are fired on the spot. This ain't the fake Apprentice TV show. And the disregard for human life and work. And everybody didn't have a rich daddy that handed them millions of dollars that they squandered and lost, to try to make a career for themselves and build something. Everybody didn't have that. So you got people who work their entire life to get to where they are, to have some idiot who didn't give a damn enough about the military or this country to bother to serve in it, to roll up to the microphone and then act like, oh, I'm here because, I value and respect the work that you do. But yeah, if I look around and just on the strength of appearance, or I pick up something about you, if I don't like you, you're fired on the spot. How do you think those generals are responding and will be thinking when this man walks in the room? Every one of them generals that Trump put around him in the first administration don't mess with him no more. Every one of them. Because they thought this dude was going to be, impressive and strong, but they realized it's all just talk. You ain't gonna bust a bubble. So I can't wait for these remarks. I cannot wait. People were texting me during the break saying, oh, I'm sure Russia and China are loving this. I'm sure the people that, would love to take our country out are loving this. I'm going to just tell people something. As somebody who has supervised people damn near my entire life in terms of workplaces, I learned very early in age. I talk to people the way I want to be talked to. I value the work that people do. I work as hard or harder, quite frankly, than anybody that ever has worked with me or for me. I will beat you working every time. And I don't care what the title becomes, you will never outwork me because I lead by example. And I talk to people. I never said anything other than this is my colleague. I say that here at the radio station. But the people that I supervise, we are colleagues in this thing together. I detest the word boss. I'm not a fan of it. It sounds like slavery to me. I'm too damn grown. I ain't never had a boss in my life. I have supervisors, managers, directors. I don't have a boss. The only person that's the boss of Michelle is Michelle. So you don't encourage morale and, continuity by beating people down. How many of you have ever been on a job where you know the supervisor talk ignorant and crazy, and then when they say something to you, you just looking at them like, man. And yet here we go. And it's that same ignorance that as we are now, what, 16, 15 hours away potentially from a government shutdown, that we find ourselves in. Because you have people pretending to be strong men who think that it's their way or the highway. And his money has afforded him the opportunity to be my way or the highway. Now that you have a Congress that you control, you got a Supreme Court that you control, he believes that he has the ability to tell the Democrats who were also elected to come to Congress, I don't have to talk to y'all. I don't have to listen to y'all. I don't have to, come to the table. I don't have to do anything. Somebody had to convince him to come to the table for that meeting they had with Hakeem Jeffries and Schumer yesterday. Because it's good for optics. At least let the public believe you were willing to have a conversation. And what are the Democrats arguing about? They're saying in December, you all are looking to mess with these subsidies that help people pay for medical insurance. It will double and triple some people's premiums, making the insurance no longer affordable. We do not have universal health care in this country. People should be able to go to the doctor without fear that this bill will wipe out my savings or mess up my credit because I cannot pay these prices. There will be people that will die because they are afraid of a hospital bill or a doctor's bill they cannot afford, or they don't believe that they will even be treated if they go, or not treated well because they're uninsured. And the Republicans have, we will turn the whole world upside down to stop you from having an abortion. But we will do nothing to take care of you and make sure you got access to quality health care. Not just access, that you are able to get quality health care while you are alive. And then, we come in to cut and reduce SNAP benefits, while we give the biggest permanent tax breaks to the wealthiest 1% of people in this country. So the rich got richer. Everyone that I pay attention to that's an economist has talked about what this budget bill that they did, the massive transfer of wealth from the general working class to the richest people in the world that live in this country. And the Republicans will dance out in front of the camera. Oh, it's the Democrats' fault. They don't want to, they think it, they should get everything they want. They aren't willing to compromise. But you got Donald Trump in the background saying, we will fire government workers if we don't get our way on this vote, on this shutdown. So who's leveraging and using taxpayers for their personal gain? We will fire people. But if y'all do what we want, we won't fire people. Well, then do they need to be fired or not? What do terminations of employees have to do with passing or preventing a government shutdown? I'm sorry, y'all, but this is sickening. This is sickening. The situation we are in right now, it is sickening. Literally. You can go to China, you can go to Russia, you can go to Canada and get health care. Americans have been listening to Republicans' promise now for damn near 16 years, minimum. that they was going to do something to create a healthcare plan. They don't even bring up a healthcare plan no more. What Donald Trump, I used to make fun of him all that first term. On Tuesday, right here, we got a stack of papers. This plan, it's going to be great. We would never see the plan. We would never see the plan. Do I have a call? Let me get them in. Hey, caller, what's happening?
Hello.
Yes, hello.
Hey, how you doing, Michelle?
I'm good. How are you?
I got is it possible one day that you and I can have a conversation about something I want to do in the community? That's the first question. You don't have to answer it right now. I just want to leave my number with you so you can call there. And the second thing is, as far as Donald Trump or us black folks that voted for him, do you know they removing all the national monuments that has anything to do with black people that's out in public?
Yes, I did see. And I didn't know if it was all, but that they certainly are taking down monuments to people of color, African Americans in particular. Yes, I did see that.
And the Smithsonian Museum. I just want to know how do those black people that voted for Trump feel? You know, since it's not about race, then why is it about race then?
Right.
Because if it wasn't about race, why would they be getting rid of those? Why don't they get rid of the statues about the Confederate? You know, if it's not about race, or just leave it alone.
Yeah, no, but we know it's about race. We know it is. We know that. That's why when Donald Trump came in that first administration and Barack Obama had the $20 bill all teed up for Harriet Tubman's face to go on it, he basically said it will never happen on my watch.
Someone had asked me that. He said, "What can you point to that says Donald Trump is racist?"
Right.
I said, "Well, you know, they were getting ready to put the black woman on the dollar bill on whatever on the currency. Oh, you got me there. You got me there. Other than that, well, he's been doing stuff all his life. I don't see what just this one. You think this is the gotcha moment? He's been a prejudiced person. He's been doing like black people, and I don't understand how a rich white person can convince poor black folks that he got our best interests at heart."
Right. Right. All right. I'm sorry.
Go ahead. I'll pay in.
No. Okay. Thank you, bro. Because I aired early today. Somebody said, this is my resident person who likes to aggravate me. Good morning, Michelle. You know, both parties are controlled by Big Pharma. Neither party cares about the health of us. Remember, Barry washed out single payer plan. Out of single payer. Biden said he'd veto Medicare for all if the bill crossed his desk. But yet there have been plans, huh? That's why we debating the Affordable Care Act. Where is the Republican plan? Where's the Republican plan? That's all I'm saying. Where is it? Where is it? Where is anything that shows that Republicans give nay damn about people being able to go to a doctor and get the care that they need without going broke? Because all of these legislators making these decisions, they all got health care. They all got good coverage on our dime. And many of them have enriched themselves with insider trading because of the stuff that they hear in committee that they then go into term and making stock investments. It's a hustle. Donald Trump has probably become wealthier by being the president than he was in private life. It's a hustle. It's a hustle. I just would be glad when people that, continue to try to justify this foolishness, admit that. Somebody else said, don't forget, today is the last day for United Healthcare and Ascension Health to come to an agreement. Wait, where'd that go? They have they have us waiting in limbo. So, I'll talk about it. When I say it is unbelievable to me that we are in this situation. For everybody that does not understand that elections have consequences. And when you hear these people trying to sit up and push you this nonsense about keeping this particular party in place, you have got to ask the question, what have you done for me lately? And I don't want to hear no mess about no jobs, especially coming from Black men who love to talk about the economy when it comes to the Republican Party that they support, but they ain't got a damn thing to say about 350,000 plus Black women being unemployed since Trump has come back into office. Y'all know the brothers. Y'all hear them. Y'all listen to the shows. Y'all see them out in the streets. Y'all see them running with the Republicans and bringing them around to meet people. Ask them what they got to say about 350,000 Black women not having jobs. Ask them what they got to say about the lack of Black representation in this man's office and around him, even in terms of the Secret Service detail that secures him. Ask them what they got to say about pushing people of color out of the military. And that because you have policies in place that speak to discrimination or sexual harassment, that those are, quote, woke policies that we need to get rid of. These brothers don't have nothing credible to say. Or they have nothing to say. So that wasn't the show I was going to do today, but that's the show we gonna have. This is serious, y'all. These people are doing irreparable harm in some cases. And it was crazy. At the same time, the church was being shot up, there was another mass shooting that day. The guy who was on the boat. Yeah, drove up to the little bar, got off the boat, shot up people in the bar, got back on his boat, and drove off. I think he killed 3 people.
You know what's so crazy? When I heard that story, I thought about the video game Grand Theft Auto, and it's a scene on there when you playing the game and going through the game that he's riding on a boat. He pull up on the dock, he get out and have a shootout, jump back on the boat and try to escape the police.
And the thing is, both of these are military vets. The man who did the damage at the St. Latter-day Church and killed people, this man who gets off the boat and goes and kills people, these are both, military people. So I said yesterday about what kind of culture are we creating? You want people to know I work for the Department of War. Like, I didn't talk about it this morning, but the ethos of war. That's who I work for. We here to kick butt. ICE agents want to just handle people roughly because under the cover of the mask, you can do all of that. Throw women to the ground, just ball out, handle people all rough. And then when somebody come for them, now we crying. We got work to do. In these upcoming elections, y'all better drag people to the polls. I mean, if you ain't voting, we not talking. If you ain't voting, you can't stay in this damn house because services is getting cut off. We losing, educational opportunities, scholarship opportunities, military service opportunities because of people's racism and prejudice. And you don't understand the value and going to show up to vote. That's the one thing some bros have started that I appreciated. We're in the barbershop, cats talking, and bros figured out where you vote at. Negroes couldn't tell you where they vote at. Well, what was on the ballot? Couldn't tell you what was on the ballot. So you want to sit up in the barbershop and Willy Bobo about what's going on the news, but you want to get up off your behind and just go do one simple thing like vote to be able to help change this? Man, you out the conversation. You out the conversation. You ain't doing nothing to help the solution. Stop talking to me about it. That's a wrap for the show today, family. I appreciate y'all. Debo, feel better. Blondie, it was good to see ya.
Hey.
And I will talk to the rest of y'all tomorrow. Peace.